Today, I want to introduce to you Natalie Woodman, who is a nutritional medicine and gut health practitioner, also known as the gut engineer. Now, Natalie has spent more than a couple of hours, let me tell you, researching everything there is to know about gut health. It is her joy in life, I figure, and it is also her passion and mission to get this information out there. If you want to work with Natalie, she has gut health reboot programs. You can find the link below. And she also has a gut health compendium, which is a series of recipe books which covers all healthy things that you could possibly want to eat and make in your own kitchen. So without further ado, let's have a listen to what Nat has to say about gut health and the thyroid. Welcome, Nat. I'm so pleased that you are here to have another chat with me. You've had so many chats with me about thyroid disease, and they're always well received on Thyroid School. So thank you for joining me.
No, well, thank you for having me back. I thought if I talk too much, you might like, well, I'll never ask that one again. But thank you, because I love talking to you.
Always have you back. Today, we want to talk about the Thyroid-Gut-Axis. And if you don't know and you're watching this and you're kind of new to thyroid disease, in your thyroid pathway, 20% of your thyroid hormone that your thyroid makes or you take is converted into usable form in your gut. So your gut health is extremely, extremely important. Nat here is the gut engineer, and she is everything there is to know about gut health and the thyroid. So I'm going to start you off, Nat, by saying, right, what's our biggest thing that we have to know about the gut and the thyroid?
Okay, so if you think about your gut, so a lot of people, we think about gut health and we think, oh, it's got to be to do something's wrong with our gut, like I've got bloating or something's wrong with my bowel movements and all the rest of it. But there's actually lots of little tells, because the gut is our brain, it's our thyroid, it's our liver, it's our pancreas, it's our skin, oral health, everything. It's all of those little things. And I think the biggest thing is that we put aside those little tells that start to tell something's off, because especially I think nowadays we've normalized a lot of things because it's so prevalent that we've normalized things that are going wrong with us. So if you sit down with anyone, if any of these people listening, they'll go, yep, I'm out with my friends, we're sitting down having a cup of coffee after school, or after this, after that, or, grandparents or whatever, and everyone starts talking about what's going wrong. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, I've got that. And, oh, yeah, my back. And, oh, yeah, my skin and my this and my that. And so we've kind of normalized all those things. And, in fact, what we've found out is that non-communicable diseases, not things like COVID or cold or flu or whatever, or measles, mumps, but the things that we can't catch, like thyroid issues, or things with allergies and eczema and asthma and psoriasis and skin issues and gut issues and ulcerative colitis and IBS, and the list goes on and on and on, have increased by about 400% in the last few decades, in the late sort of 70s, 80s, 90s. And most of that has got to do with epigenetics, not just food, lifestyle, but also environmental factors. Now, some things are out of our control, but most things are in our control. But because things have gone so rapidly downhill for so many people, especially in the Western world, when we're talking about places like the UK or Australia or America, Canada, New Zealand, like what we call sort of Western countries, is that because that has gone up so thing, and we talk to all our friends, everyone will say, oh, yeah, that's happening. Oh, it's just me getting older. Oh, yeah, that's happening. But they're little tells. So our gut health is basically, what we've found out now, is the foundation of our health. We're more gut microbes than we have human cells. So people think about it as the foundation of your health. Okay, so if I'm building 3 houses, I've got a new housing development, and I'm a builder, and I put down 3 foundations. And they're done by different people, and some are done quick and all the rest of it. And then I build the 3 houses. And this house says to me, it's got little tells that it says, God, we're always getting a leak in the corner of that house, right in the corner inside the house. And then another one says, oh, yeah, we've got like the walls don't meet the the door frames, and it's a thing, and we can never shut the door properly. And there's lots of little things that go wrong with each house. But the problem was the foundation. Okay, the problem was the foundation wasn't laid properly, so there's all these little things. Now people put up with them. They think, I'll just patch that up. I'll just shove the door really. If I shove it harder, then it will shut, and then it'll be hard to get open. But I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
But and it'll work. But it doesn't really address the foundation. Now, maybe that's not a great analogy, because sometimes there aren't things that you can do about foundations after they've been laid. All right. But what we have is we have little tells that tell us. And with thyroid disorders, they'll always...
Business. When you've got to start, when you want to buy a business, what's the first thing you do? What are you starting with? Take inventory. And until you take inventory, you have no idea what you're dealing with. Yeah.
No. And so a lot of people will go, they'll jump the minute the car's making a sound or it's not going well, that's driven in and we're checking it out, make sure that it's okay and all the rest of it, but we don't with our own body. And so we normalize it. It gets a bit worse. We get used to it. And I know, because I've been here, if anyone is anything about me, I was very ill in my 40s and things were going, I didn't wake up one morning 15 kilos overweight with chronic back pain, eczema, digestive distress, and all the rest. I didn't just wake up and go, what It was happening slowly over years, but it happens so gradual that people don't realize. And so what I'm saying to people that have got thyroid there, and there's no point saying, oh God, I missed that, and what the hell, what was I doing, and why didn't I see that? That's fine. What's happened is happened. But it's really important that your people that are listening are saying, yeah, actually, I am going to do this little health thing, and I'm going to think about how long that's been going on. Yeah, I've kind of been putting that off and whatever, but they're all connected, and it's like a snowball. So if you've ever got, if anyone's ever played with snow, you make a snowball at the top of the mountain where you're going to ski, and you throw it down, and it starts going faster, and it starts gathering more and bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is the issue with our gut dysbiosis, which is what the thyroid is connected to. It starts a little, then a bit more, and then a bit more, and then bang, it goes. So everything's a risk factor. We look at all those things, 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. They all start going off. You no longer just have 10% that's going wrong. It's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. That's telling us our gut is imbalanced, and then things start going bang. There goes. It's the one thing. It's the straw that broke the camel's back, and bang, thyroid, bang. So we know conclusively now with the Thyroid-Gut-Axis that the gut is so important to good thyroid health.
Yeah. What's your take on? So there's lots of. You see lots of things around the place that there's the one root cause of thyroid. I don't believe there's one root cause of anything. There's many, but do you feel like thyroid disease comes first and then the gut health exacerbates it, or in reverse, or it can be both?
Okay, no. So they're very clear now with the thyroid. There's been lots of research in the last couple of years. In fact, it's exploded probably about since 2022, I think, because they were too busy with COVID, maybe. And everyone was like, well, quick, let's get something for COVID. We can make some money there. Let's forget about the thyroid, And so it sort of seems like after that, it's sort of like gone crazy. And there's so much. And what we say is, no, there was dysbiosis first. There was an imbalance first. So what we know is that there's the imbalance, which is a tell with a lot of people don't see with their thyroid. They might start being... there's a lot that we don't. I don't know. I did human bile. I don't think we ever talked about the thyroid, or maybe we did. Probably wasn't listening that day.
There was minute
there's so much that we don't really know about our own body.
Yeah.
There's so much that we don't know that until it goes, and then we're like, oh, and someone says, oh, it's your thyroid, but we've missed all those things. So no, it's definitely dysbiosis, because what we know is that we have these little gut microbes. So just think about it as little seedlings in the garden. You've got basil and sage and thyme and oregano, and there's lots of different little seedlings. And as they grow, so that's all our beneficial gut bacteria. Lots and lots and lots of different types that do little things. Like you don't use oregano in the same way that you would use if you were growing chili. And you wouldn't use chili in the same way that you were using if you were growing chives and all the rest of it. They're all different. They give you different things and that. So as they grow, they supply us with different things. And all our gut bacteria grow and they supply us with little things. And one of the things that they do is help with the conversion of T3 to T4 in making thyroxine. So one of the bacteria, they get food, lifestyle, and we can go into that further if you want to know more. But basically, all of those factors decide whether it's those little bacteria are healthy or not. So just like your plants in the garden, all the different ones, it's the sunlight, it's the water, it's the soil, is there pests, is there a cyclone, is there a frost? All of those things determine the health of your plants and what they give you. No, they give you something or not because you haven't taken care of. The same with our health. Our little gut microbes rely on all these food and lifestyle elements. They get healthy. They create butyrate. Butyrate is important in the conversion of T3 to T4. There we go. Now, let's say
T4 to T3.
That's not happening. Let's say oregano no time of dying.
Yeah.
T4 to T. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
So,
do you...
Sorry, I keep saying the wrong one.
No, that's
I've got it right here and I keep saying
That's okay. So have you noticed with people you've worked with, and you may not have, but I was just curious, something popped up for me there. Have you noticed the difference in gut health or kind of symptomology between hyperthyroid, hypothyroid, or the autoimmune versions of each, Graves and Hashimoto's? Have you noticed, or is it kind of the same across the board that the gut health is just poor and out of control?
Yeah, so we still know it starts with the dysbiosis. So it doesn't matter if it's hyper or hypo, it goes to Graves or Hashimoto's. It's linked with the initial dysbiosis. Okay.
How long does it take for your gut to become out of control? Like to develop dysbiosis?
Well, you can do it pretty much on a weekend if you really wanted to.
Really?
I mean, you can throw it out pretty quickly. Okay, let's say again. So there's all your plants in the garden and you're going out and you're watering and they've got the right amount of sunshine and all the rest of it. And then a weekend comes where it's like a frost of really, 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 really freezing cold and everything is just frosted up and dies off. If you're not prepared, look, I mean, Mike, don't look at my garden, but what I'm saying is that if we're not prepared for it. So we that's another thing where people go, oh yeah, but I just do it on the weekend, or I just do here, or I just do that. It's in moderation. I don't even think what people know what moderation is. So I think it's like, would you do that to a baby? Like, you know how we all, I mean, if anyone here, I mean, you've had a child, in that first 3 years, you're careful about everything you're doing.
Make everything
all the rest
from scratch.
And then afterwards you think, oh God, have a pie and just get it over and done with, But you are so careful. And our gut bacteria are like the plants in the garden. They're not like the pathogens, the pathogenic bacteria, the ones that aren't great, are like weeds. They are very strong, very virulent, and they can survive under any conditions. But our beneficial gut flora, unfortunately, are like those plants in our garden. They are easily susceptible to those things. And so everything takes away. You're either putting towards it or take it away. People say, oh, I just do it on the weekend. Well, that's 2 days out of 5. That's, a good 20, 30%. And I'm not saying we don't have to live like none, mind you, they probably have a drink as well. But anyway, I don't know.
Have you, of the thyroid people that you've worked with, have you noticed, now something popped into my mind then, so symptoms. So thyroid disease has a million different symptoms, right?
Yes.
So have you noticed a commonality, just because it's common doesn't mean it's normal, of symptoms with the gut health for these people that you've worked with thyroid disease?
No, and that's the thing. It plays out in lots of different ways. Our microbiome is unique as our fingerprint. It is unique to us. Nobody on the planet has got the same microbiome as you. While there are similarities with, like, kids that are born with C-sections in hospital and the environment they're brought up, or vaginal birth that we get from our mother, but then again from our environment and all the rest of it, there's susceptibilities there. So at the age of our mother, where she was then, the stress that she was under, whether it was a vaginal birth or C-section, whether it's breastfed or not fed, all the rest of it will impact that child's microbiome. Then, as you're growing up, there's lots of other things that will impact it, okay? Stress and trauma and food and, lifestyle and environment and all those sorts of things. So, and then what it seems to get it, depending what you started with, can affect it. So some people will be really affected by sleep. They'll say for years, like, yeah, actually I've had insomnia for years. That's a sign of gut dysbiosis. Someone else will say, yeah, I've been having this eczema. I just didn't really think much of it, but I'm just having this itching on the back of my arms for
because we're very good, and I think the medical system has taught us to compartmentalize things, right? And oh, that's a separate thing. Oh, that's a separate. It's like because we go to all different specialists for every different organ in the body, right?
Well, I was just came from today from a cardiac specialist with my mum, and and he was really lovely and all the rest of it. But he's only looking at the heart. I'm just looking at the gut microbiome. You're just you're going to kind of specialize because it's so huge out there. So I get that. But what it is that, we think skin, we go to a skin doctor. Now, they're busy. They don't have time to read about, this cardiac surgeon said, oh, it's fine. It's got nothing to do with diet and exercise.
Oh,
and
no.
I was like to my mother, I thought, oh, well, I'm like writing notes, and I'm just like, don't write that down.
Lord, that's a
don't lose it. But the thing is he's looking at something different. And look, he could have been talking about the fact that at that age, like, don't even worry about it type of thing. My mum's 85, and so maybe
potentially he was just being enjoy your life.
Yeah, that's right. So so I'm not sort of like, but I would say, like, while I just thought it could have been worded like everything plays a role. I think he could have said, but where you are at your stage of life, there's nothing that you're going to do to reverse this. You're not going to go out and start, marathon or whatever and making it any. I can understand, like talking about damage and what that's not going to do. So, but I do think it's about feeling good every day.
Absolutely.
My thing is it's about feeling good every day. We're all going to die of something. So what it is that we go and that doctor just does that, but we're not looking at everything in food and lifestyle and environment. And that's because most people just don't have the time. And you'll know yourself, people come to work with me and I say, look, we'll work together for a month to 6 months. And I'm like, oh, you sure this is just a 30-minute consult? And I'm like, no, I'm actually very sure it's not a 30-minute consult. In fact, I couldn't even do it in an hour. In fact,
it's those single consults that people are complaining about because their doctor hasn't explained anything or somebody hasn't explained anything. That's why single consults don't work for people.
That's right. And it doesn't, it works for our car and, and machinery like that, but it doesn't work for people. There's not enough time in a visit. And I really do feel for those people because you go in to see a skin specialist or a cardiac specialist, whatever, and it's 15 minutes. 15 minutes. There's just no way that you could tell them any sort of history or what's going on. And we know now that the gut microbiome, like just a 2-hour stressor, can change the relative abundance of your beneficial bacteria and have huge changes to your gut and the balance in your gut. Now, a 2-hour stressor, like I'm saying,
is that
like
reversible?
Yes.
No. I mean, like, how long does it take to reverse a 2-hour damage or dump of damage?
I think what it is I always say to people, look, we've got to stop quantifying things. What we've got to do is look at things and go, okay, how do we want to live our life? Regardless, we're all going to get something and drop dead, okay? Or maybe you don't get something, just fall asleep and die, but something's going on. So rather than trying to quantify, I know people come to my talks and they're like, how many plants can I eat? And how much should I do of this? And how much should I do of that? And how much should I do that? I said, okay, forget about it. That's like counting calories, You're living a life. You're up, you're going out, you're doing this, you got kids, you haven't got kids, you got to go to school, drop, you got to do this. What you're trying to do is in every moment make the best choice. There's good better, best, right?
I literally just did a video on good, better, best. I love that. We're on the same page.
Yeah, and so we're trying to break it down in this tiny minutia of things when it's basically, you know, and it's practice, because and also a lot of people don't know what good is. Like I was meeting this guy the other day, and just about the tree verge or something, and he knew something about the council, and we were sitting down and having a coffee, and I had double espresso, and he said, "Oh, gut health, yeah, whatever." And he said, "Oh, yeah, give me, what's one thing, you know, that I could give up?" And I said, "Well, see that Pepsi on the table?" And he goes, "Oh," and he goes, "Oh, that can't be." And I said,
"Give me a different thing."
Give me a different thing. I'd like a different thing. So we kind of all know what's not good for us. You don't need to have my specialization or your specialization or any degree or whatever. My grandchildren, who are 2, 5, and 7, know the difference between something that's healthy.
A chocolate bar and an apple, yeah.
Or sitting on your ass all day and watching TV and not getting up at all, or not drinking a glass of water. We all know those things.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of doing all of those things. Now, sometimes we need a kick up the arse. You run programs, I run programs. I love kicking people up the arse, you know. Love it. Absolutely love it.
I suspect I do it a little bit more gently than you, but yours is... I love your straight talk. I always do. I love your right, tell me as it is. Yeah.
I know. I think I missed my calling. I should have been in the Defence Force.
Yeah, you should have.
In the Navy. And I said, "Oh, man, I would have been." He goes, "Mum, you would have loved it. They just yell straight in your face and they can swear at it." I said, "Don't tell me that.
It's never too late, I believe, but anyway."
Don't let me get in. No, I'm over 60 now. I haven't got any hope of getting in. But, you know, I thought, oh, man, that would have been a good job for me.
It would have.
But what I'm saying is that, you know, depending where we are with our health, there's, you know, we can get a little or a lot of health. But, you know, if people are listening, and I know what everyone's saying, because it's been, like, I finish my talks, I do podcasts, and the hands go up, and I say, okay, if your hand is up to say, ask the question, what's the one thing I can do? Put your hand down. And I'm telling you, 80%, 90% of the hands go down. I said, you are looking for that one thing. You're not looking at how you sleep, how you're on digital devices, your water, your social interactions, your hate for someone or resentment or what you eat, or you're not looking at all of it. You want one thing. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There isn't one thing.
I love that you are talking about the same, like, one of the things I talk about often is, yeah, it's great saying remove gluten, but the emotions and the thought processes and the mental capacity to remove the gluten is as important as, you know, and I love that. And stress, you know, I say same thing about stress. Forget it, you know, you can't out diet a stressful lifestyle. So,
no.
But I think it's really hard. I think that people in general, unless...
So, yeah, what do you get when they come to you? What is, you know, like...
They want the one thing.
Help. Yeah, okay. So
they
like
want
they're going to turn it off right now.
Yeah.
Stupid podcast.
No. They want, but gradually over time, people that have followed me for a long time are now used to me saying, this isn't about, and I've said it many times, my most popular post of all time on Thyroid School over 10 years, and I post this once or twice a year, just out of my own curiosity now, more than anything, is pink salt improves the thyroid pathway.
Okay. Right.
And the description is simply use whole versions rather than like the table salt, blah, blah, blah. That's all. Like, it's just encouraging people to eat more whole versions of foods, right? Because it's got so many other minerals and nutrients in the pink salt or the Celtic sea salt or whatever it is that's whole. But that is the most popular, because that, you can see people can get their head around that. Oh, I can do that. I can throw out my white table salt and I can go to the shops today and I can buy pink salt, Celtic salt, whatever your choice is. And I think that particularly with thyroid disease, there's so many things going on. There's so many symptoms that are confusing. There's so many lack of answers for people from doctors, practitioners, things like that, because they've got 7 minutes, all the things.
Sure.
That I think for clarity, brain fog, memory, all of these things that come to play with thyroid disease, that's why thyroid patients look, I was the same, right? When I started college and 4 years of college, I was like, what's my thing that I can do today to change my tomorrow? And if I have to build on that, great. But I think because of the brain fog, because of the lack of clarity and all that sort of thing, that's why particularly thyroid people look for can you just give me one thing to focus on? Because they just don't have the capacity to go, let's look at everything. That's what I've learned from thyroid school over the years, because I have to sometimes, I forget what it was like for me 34 years ago now when I got diagnosed.
Sure.
And it's not until I read some comments that I go, oh, blimey, yeah, that's right. I do remember that. So I think that that's the issue when it comes to thyroid disease. And that's where thyroid people fall through the cracks, because even going to natural health practitioners sometimes, it's too much. It's like, just give me one thing. Just give me one thing I can do today, and tomorrow I'll do the next thing, and then the next thing, So I think that's where, the one thing for thyroid people is kind of handy. Like they kind of need that starting point, which hopefully domino effect will lead on to, okay, maybe if I eat my breakfast in the sun every day, you've secretly given them 2 or 3 good things, without them knowing what they're doing. So, I don't know. What's your take on all of that?
Okay, so I absolutely get that, and I understand what you're taking on, and that's sort of how I run my programs. Is we build on one thing. I said, today you're just doing this, and then we add another thing, and they're little tiny changes. They're like, I could do that, and I can do that, and it gets there, and then you get better and better and better and better at those things, and then they become second nature. We don't all learn. We don't get up and start walking straight away. We fall over, and
you've got to build the neural pathways.
So you've got to build those there. But I think, what is a really good start for people is understanding about, and I suppose, when I do my talks, I do, 3 food, 3 lifestyle. And I say, look, these are really simple things and we've talked about this, is that we know that what fuels the gut is fiber. Now, I don't believe in veganism or vegetarianism or anything like that. I eat meat. I have chickens who give me eggs.
Testify to that. I've been watching your Japan videos, and you ate meat, and you ate this, and you ate everything.
And like I said, I should become the representative for Meiji chocolate in Australia. I really think they're missing out on getting me as their representative, because I've tasted every type, and I can give a really good.
I don't think it's too late for that. I think you should still put that in there.
50 grams a day, and you're good. 50 grams a day and you're still good. So what it is that we know fiber, okay? So predominantly, so what we should do is there should be a predominance of plants on our plate, okay? So that's fine. So that's fruit and veggies. It can be fruit, veggies, whole grains, nuts, seeds, beans, legumes, whatever. That's all our veggie thing. Nothing wrong with meat, nothing wrong with egg and all the rest of it. But it doesn't have fiber, and our gut is fueled by different types of fiber. So the next thing is the variety, okay? The variety of fiber. So I know what people say. They go, but how do I do that? I can barely think about what to have for dinner. Every week I'm thinking, ask any woman, they're just like, if you just told me what to eat every week, I could do it. But trying to think and put it together by myself is really hard. So and I, as you know, I do the recipe and I do all of that and all the rest of it. So I said, well, that's something that I do, but I get that. But what it is there's nothing good with processed foods. Jars, okay, if you get a can of tomatoes, it's only got a tomato. You look at anything else. Someone was telling me about this sweet chili sauce, and I said, it's got 0 sugar, and I said, that's because it's got aspartame and this other one called alpha something K, which is a non-nutritive, non-calorific synthetic sweetener, so 0 sugar. But we know that those ultra processed foods, emulsifiers, thickness and whatever, are like taking a flamethrower to your beneficial gut flora. They'll conflict dysbiosis. But what we believe is that anything is on the shelf can't be bad for our health, because why would they be allowed
To sell it.
to sell it? But it's in the dose. And so we think, we think this is that moderation thing that we're talking about. We forget. So sometimes it's just really helpful to say, like if you said like one thing, don't put any of that in your trolley. You see, a pasta sauce. You like a pasta sauce with, with your pasta. Have a look on the side. It's got tomato, and then it's got like a lot of people don't know how much sodium, but it's got like 10 times your bloody daily limit right there. Sodium affects your gut bacteria, which causes dysbiosis, which throws out your thyroid. So all of those little things, and we don't have to be a nutritionist, but you can just go, okay, well, that's got thickeners and emulsifiers and that, but it's got oregano, basil, tomato, whatever. Well, I can get a can of tomatoes, and I can get those
the individual ingredients,
and make my own and have it with my pasta. And that, so it's really, but there's one thing is don't put it in your trolley.
And then there's the odd thing I found. I don't know if you've got a good grocer in South Perth there. Have you seen the Good Grocer pasta sauce? It's literally got like 4 ingredients.
Yeah.
I've never seen another one like it. It's the only one I buy. I don't go to the Good Grocer here. We've got one up here. I don't go very often, but if I go, I keep one of them in the fridge or in the cupboard, because it's like I've never seen one that's got tomatoes, olive oil, salt, and something else. I don't know, but really clean, and it's so unusual to find that. But I just want to ask you, with all of that and the processed foods and everything, I did read, and I try now with the way I approach things, is to not be dogmatic like I used to be. I try not to go, oh, this is the only way. But I read years ago, so you might be able to update me on whether this is still true or not, that to stop yourself becoming intolerant, do you do, or did you ever do hair intolerance testing?
Meta-analysis, years
do you
ago,
still do them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because the intolerance ones, the 600, I discovered that every 6 months your intolerances would change.
Yes.
Because you would swap out, because when I first did it, I was told, no more almond milk, you can have macadamia milk. So I swapped to macadamia milk, and then after 6 months of macadamia milk, oh, no, you can't have macadamia milk now. And what I learned was that through a bit of research at the time, so this was years ago, that to stop any intolerances developing in your gut, body, whatever, that you shouldn't have the same thing once. It should be 4 days before you have that same thing again. So to me, I was like, so if you wrote yourself a menu that was not repeating anything for 4 days, and then you started that menu again on day 5 and repeated, because even though people go, I want something different, we are creatures of habit. We've grown up in the world of Friday night fish and chips and Tuesday night spaghetti. So I argue with anyone that says I'm bored repeating things, because we do that as natural as human beings. Is that true? The 4-day mark of you don't repeat it, you will likely not develop an intolerance?
Okay, I think so. What happens is you are correct, and then there's a version of that. So what happens is, it's just like now they say 30 plants, have like 30 plants a week, and that gets you. And so their numbers that we put on, it's like 10,000 steps, right? Their numbers that we put out, that gives sort of a baseline, okay? But what we do know is that you're very right, is that what trumps fiber, so our gut bacteria needs fiber, but what trumps fiber is variety. Because what happens is, let's say we've got the Lactobacillus genus, and then we've got the different species, got Acidophilus, and so people know Lactobacillus because they'll see it in their yogurt or kefir or whatever. So they've seen it on the side of a thing or in a probiotic. But then there's Acidophilus reuteri, Johnsoni, Rhamnosus, Plantarum. There's
all of them.
Then under that, there's species, and so we know that Lactobacillus Plantarum, 299V does one thing, and IC 500 does another thing. They all do lots of different things. So again, let's go back to the garden. We've got oregano, we've got basil, sage, whatever. So they're all our different types of they're the same family of herbs, but they are completely different. We don't use them in the same way with meals. Yeah. Same with our bacteria. There's the same family, but there's lots of different types that do lots of different jobs. Now, they all feed off something different, just like the plants in our garden. My basil's going crazy at the moment. It loves winter, but the oregano is dead. The thyme is looking a bit sad. The chives are doing really well. So things flourish in certain seasons and certain types of
environment. Yeah.
The environment, the soil, the wetness, the dryness, and all that. They're very, very different. And our gut bacteria are the same. So they want different things all the time. Now, when we start, so the 4-day thing is, I think people do it is so that, okay, people will swap and change something. And it gives like that, what we were talking about, one thing. Yeah, I could do that. Every 4 days I can change it and change it and change it. And then I'll come back around and all the rest of it. But what it is, why that variety is so important is that, let's say, Lactobacillus plantarum 299V, that helps with epithelial turnover and stops things like IBS and all that sort of stuff like that. It's really good for that. Let's say that doesn't, because I'm eating the same thing all the time and it's feeding one but not another. So every day I'm out there and I'm giving my basil the right amount of sunshine, the right amount of everything, but I just don't worry about the sage or the thyme or I just
ignore those.
They die off or they get a bit sad and sick and don't give me what I need, and that one thing grows. But the problem is all of those bacteria are doing different jobs. Well, when they don't get fed properly, they go down and down, and then they don't do their job. And then we start becoming intolerant because our gut bacteria, all of them, they replace our epithelium, they make sure that they can break down our foods, they take out nutrients, extract nutrients, and all the rest of it. So what happens is we actually start to become intolerant. In fact, most people with that they have gut issues, they go, I don't even know what I'm intolerant because I ate that for a certain amount of time and it was fine, like you said. Now my milk was fine. Then all of a sudden, it wasn't fine. And then it was something else and something else. What it is always mixing. Variety trumps everything. Now, people go, okay, but that's really hard. Okay, but it's not. We were forced into variety. So when I was growing up, there was no Coles or Woolies or whatever. We lived in Dinella. There was a food and veggie truck that came up. My mum had to walk up to the truck and get her things. And us kids either came back happy or sad, 3 of us under 3. And the reason was it was either strawberry season and, banana season, pineapple season, all those wonderful things, or it was broad beans, Brussels sprouts and cauliflower season. Yeah. Right? We were forced into it. The irony is now if we walk into a supermarket, there's 50 types of lettuce. Yeah. There's red cabbage, purple cabbage. We didn't have any of that growing up. There's all these things, but we tend to stick
the same thing.
And we have 10 things over a year. We rotate and we have 10 things over a year. We are not. And so it's about you. That's part of what I do with my recipe books is going, like tonight we're having peppered parsnip and potato soup, and tomorrow we're having red dragon udon, and the next night we had rich Moroccan sweet potato lentil curry.
Your food photos, seriously, on stories, I just go, oh, yum. They look like a freaking restaurant, every single one.
And it's fixing. You don't have to do that 5 times a week. You just do it 3 times a week, and looking at different things. And in our supermarket, we don't have to worry. People go, but I don't know what's seasonal. You know what's seasonal because it's cheaper. You'll know what's seasonal because mangoes, if you found a mango at the moment, it's going to be $5 instead of $1. And your zucchinis are this. So, and look, that's not always true because we grow in greenhouses and things like that. But you are right in that, okay, if 4 days is the point that it helps you to understand, to make a change in what you're eating, then that's great. But we have all types of nuts. I know now that, taking away, and I'm not saying someone that's got a peanut allergy should go and take peanuts, but we know that little bit and getting them and having a little bit of everything is the secret because, no shit, Sherlock, it feeds each one of those beneficial bacteria. Each one of them can grow beautifully. That does that job takes care of anxiety and depression because it's involved in serotonin production. And that bacteria is grown in like making sure the whole inside of our lining is in tip-top shape. And that one's involved in immune function. And that one's involved in producing brain eutrophic factors, so for learning, memory, and concentration. Each one does a different thing.
By saying what you said about seasonally and how we should be eating seasonally, I realised that in itself kind of discounts the 4-day rule, because if you ate seasonally as they did back in the day, it wouldn't be 4 days, it would be a season.
Exactly. So, I say to people, look, if we break it down to that minutia, what we do is it becomes more stressful thinking about those things. And stress is probably one of the biggest impacts on our gut health. It's like taking a flamethrower. So you plant that beautiful garden, it's all got thing, but you go to, Coates High, you get a flamethrower and you go and you burn it down to nothing. So what we've got to do is, just little by little, if that means changing it every 2 weeks for some people, and then they get a bit better and they can change things more regularly, then that's good. But looking at things that we don't normally have, like people will go, oh, I only like that lettuce, I never get anything else. Yeah. And a lot of that is because we don't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with it.
And we've just never tasted it, right?
No. It's like kids, kids go, I don't like that. And I'm like, well,
have you tried it?
Like chocolate. Yeah. Have you tried it? And adults go, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, okay, right. Well, okay, I can't help you there then. So yes, that, whatever works for you. It's like people say, oh, I do 10,000 steps every day. I said, 10,000 steps keeps you moving all day, then that's great. But it's not a magic number.
No.
Okay. Some days you'll do 5 and sometimes 10. And yesterday I did 17,000. It will change depending on what's happening. It's the overall thing. People do, like they go, I did my exercise and it's done. Well, you're looking at exercise the wrong way. It shouldn't be a done. It should be something you enjoy. It's movement. People in the old days didn't exercise. They were just moving all the time. Yeah. Right? So we don't have to, but they lifted and they moved and they did things and they got that and they had to get kids into cars and do all these things. And now we've got something that's
windows, vacuuming, winding down the windows.
Yeah. and then doing it really quickly because there was a puddle. Like, honestly, I didn't have tuck shop arms because you were leaning across going.
When you think about how hard, and I've said this on previous videos on my channel, where convenience is what's killing us.
Yes. And so everything, the food in the store, everything is convenient. So we also want cheaper and better and quicker and everything. And so we don't do these things. So little by little by little, it's been eroded. And that's why we've seen this massive spike in non-communicable diseases. Same with thyroid disorders, because we're not really aware. And so we're looking for a pill or a powder or the one person that can help us. But it's like I say, predominance, plants. It doesn't mean that you can't have yogurt and meat and all that sort of stuff. And even mix those things up. Don't go for the same thing all the time. Variety is what's really important. But the way you eat, sitting down, getting out in sunshine, not stressing.
I just worked out what the one thing is.
Okay, what is it?
It's eat and live like our ancestors did. I say ancestors, but I mean probably if there's anyone younger. I used to say grandma, but that's my grandma that I'm talking about. So,
well, my kids say me grandma. So
So maybe anyone watching your great grandma. I don't know. It's essentially living like they did, like before the 50s. Essentially, I suppose.
Yes,
that's the one thing. How did they live? How did they eat?
Look, we're busy and life has changed. And I don't want to go back to, like, my mother had 3 kids under 3 with cloth nappies and one of those washing machines.
We don't need that side,
And we don't want to. So there's really great things that technology has done for us, and life, and fridges and freezers, and being able to go down the shop at any time and get it. And, remember there was I grew up, there was no late night shopping. If you didn't get to shop before 5.
Same.
There's no weekend. There's nothing. So there's lots that technology has done that makes it just brilliant for how we live. But what we've done is we've really let it take over too much. And, You see, I'm getting younger and younger people. I mean, I'm, 62 this year, and mostly I've treated people in their 50s and 60s, but I'm getting 40, 30, 20-year-olds.
Getting younger, yeah.
And I feel for them because so much has changed that, they're sitting in bed all night on their phone with that bright light and ruining their circadian rhythm, which the circadian rhythm is linked to our gut microbiome and melatonin and cortisol and all the rest of it. So we throw our gut out and all these things. But
unfortunately, what's common now for our young ones is so not normal. It's like we're getting to such an extreme of what is common, that they live off fast foods, they live off processed foods, potentially because mum and dad are at work, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast. This is not naming and blaming people. This is just like, we're all surviving. We're using convenience to to help us get through life.
And then we don't know how to, because we go, but I'm so busy. Like I always say to people, I said, you tell a woman that's got 3 kids, well, wake up in the morning and sit outside and have a smoothie. And they're like, right, well, my kids will be on the road dead because they'll have run on the road by then, because I don't. So it has to be how you're going to work. And this is what we were talking about. We used to get that from our mothers or our grandmothers. Even now, people are disjointed from families. They live overseas or live here. I mean, we lived overseas in Japan for 16 years. I didn't have parents, grandparents, or anyone. So we're just, the way that we live now, we're disjointed for that. And so it's about finding that person to help you get back on track with all those things. And a lot of it is common sense or common knowledge, but it's not common knowledge anymore, and it's not common sense because those things have been lost. And so, I think, look, one thing, okay, there is actually one thing I say to people. I know you're just like, oh, this woman, she says there isn't one thing.
Give us this one thing, Nat.
So find someone you like working with. It's not about, it's about that someone you connect with. If you don't like it, you think about it with you or your kids or whatever. If you didn't like a teacher at school, there was no way you were learning. You couldn't stand my kids. I hate math. Well, no, you hated the teacher. Right? Oh, I hate the teacher. Why do you hate math? Oh, the teacher is the teacher. So it's not the maths, it's the teacher. And then they changed math teachers, and all of a sudden they not only loved math, but they were great at math. You've got to have someone you can work with that you like.
And one of the biggest things that I read daily almost on Thyroid School Facebook page is, my doctor is a waste of space. My doctor gaslights me. My doctor's useless. My doctor knows nothing about thyroid disease. This is just probably above anything else. So if you're working with a doctor that you think can't help you,
stop it. Change it. Talk to your friends. Talk to people. What is that's happening? The best thing that we can do is talk to our friends. How did it help you? What did you do? And all the rest of it. And they might say, oh, I did it. My doctor said this, and I'm taking all these pills and powders. And you might go, oh, yeah, I'm not a pill and powder person. I don't want any of that. But keep talking to people. Keep talking to people and find that person. Because if you don't like working with them, and you know what it's like. I've said to people, I get people, they book an exploratory call, and at the end of it, I said, I'm not your person. And they go, oh, but, and I said, no, I'm not your person, because I'm going to tell you this and this and this, and you're not going to want to hear that or get that. Maybe in the future I might be your person, but I'm not that person now.
That's right. And this is where part of your inventory, so anyone watching, part of your inventory of your physical symptoms must always be, how do you like working with people? What kind of practitioner are you a gentle soul? When I went to India in 2018 and spent 4 weeks at an Ayurvedic hospital, the Ayurvedic doctor came in, took my pulse and said to me, oh, you're a gentle one. Gently for you.
All right.
And I went, and I immediately burst into tears and went, yes, I'm a gentle one. Because if you don't know that that's the kind of practitioner, if you don't state for yourself on pen and paper, I actually need somebody that's a bit gentler with me, that will encourage me, or, oh no, you know what, I need someone that's going to kick me up the arse and tell me straight. If you don't know those things about yourself, along with what things you've got going on with you,
Yes.
You don't know where to start when it comes to working with a doctor.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. So any practitioner, nutritionist, or
Any
naturopath, and all the rest of
modality.
it,
Yep.
any modality. It's like it's the same with your plumber. If you get a plumber and you go, "Oh, I didn't like them. They were a bit rude and they were a bit off," there, you think, well, you don't call them again. I mean,
No.
we do it. We don't go to the same mechanic. Oh, that was ridiculously expensive, and the car doesn't even seem that much better, or whatever. But it seems with our health, we keep on keeping on keeping on with the same thing. So yeah, kind of one thing is to find that person. I mean, I give talks and some people come up to me, oh yeah, this is great, this is exactly what, and I want it, and other people are like, well, I think, you're full of it, and I'm blah, blah, and all the rest of it. That's fine.
You are very polarizing, Nat.
No, I know, I'm very polarizing. There's just a
but I
line
love
down
that about you.
half leave and half stay, And the same thing, I don't love everything about my own husband, and he certainly doesn't love all the things about me. We don't have to love everything, but we have to be able to go, this is good. I found
someone I can connect with and relate to.
Yep, and I get that, and what's my movement on this, and all the rest of it. But yeah, like my husband says, he goes, when they were dishing out the empathy to fill up your empathy gland, basically they were just like they're filling it, and they're like someone got distracted and went to the next baby, and that was like there was nothing there, and I'm like, yeah, no, it's
I don't know that you're minus empathy. I don't know. But I like.
I'm into action. I'm just sort of like, okay, what are we going to do? Let's go. I'm just like, yeah, okay, poor you. I can pat you on. That's like the kids.
But that gets nowhere, right?
It's got blood. I said, oh dear. Okay, well, look, and straight away I'm spraying with something, putting a band-aid and all the rest of it. It's like, well, you want to fix it, don't you? And he's like, oh.
Yeah. What's the solution? That's like you jump straight to what's the solution, right?
Yeah, that's right. So, it's, maybe that is the one thing, because it's all of those things. And also saying to your practitioner what you're willing and not willing to do. And that's really, really important, because people will go, I talk to people, like, oh yeah, I will do anything. And then you start working with them, like, I don't want to do that, I want to do that. And so don't get me in under false pretenses. So again, people have got to know themselves and go, okay, I can do this much now. That's what I can do, and I can only do that. So I don't mind the next month if we just do that, and then I'll move to that. Know your limitations, know where you are, what you can and can't do, what does that look like, because the more information that you know about yourself, it's going to find you that great person that can help. Or once you know all about that about yourself, guess what? You'll find it yourself even, maybe.
Yeah.
And that's good too. You know what I mean? That is good too. Doesn't matter what it looks like and how it's done. Took me nearly 5 years to really get back, on my own, with my own health, doing all the research and reading and all the rest of it. Now that's 5 years. Other people go, well, I don't want to spend that much time doing that. I want it now. Well, this is what now quick looks like. Now quick looks like this, in really reining all of that in. So I think you're right. You've got to know more about yourself. You've got to know more about your practitioner. But the best thing is, if you understand where you are, what you're willing to do, and how that looks like, you can go in there and say to somebody, okay, this is
where I'm at. This is what I want.
And that's what I say to people. I say, well, I can't help you unless you can. I'm working all the time. I'm taking my parents to the hospital. I've got these kids and all this. And she said, okay, so you haven't got a second. So you either get someone to make all your meals for you every week, or you keep buying that stuff, which is harming your health. Okay, so it's gonna, okay, I can do that. Right, let's see how that works. What can you do? What does it look like?
Nothing changes if nothing changes, right?
Well, one of my clients, she was an ophthalmologist, and then she was like, studying law, because like, what do you do when you've got, and she had, and 3 young kids, and she was so busy. And also, I was like, Jesus. And I said, okay, you need to get Airtasker. Airtasker, you get someone to come in once a week, do your grocery shopping, lay out exactly what you want. These are the meals. You take them from my recipe books. These are what I want. Do this, all the rest of it. And this lady, she used to pay her $25 an hour. She came in, she went, got the list, went shopping, came back, prepped all the meals, put them in the fridge. It was cheaper than anything on the rest. Now that was her answer. There's always a solution. So there is always a solution for someone. It's about, what are you willing to do? What can you do? How much money? It's all the sort of thing. If you're getting renovations on your house, you know what your budget
It's problem
is.
solving. You've got to figure it
your
out.
time frame. That, and is that person that's doing it for you someone that you connect with, that you trust?
Okay.
That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Now this is gone totally.
That's right. That's okay. We're nearly finished anyway, so that's okay. So I want you, for thyroid people watching this, and by the way, for your thyroid people watching this, Nat has written very kindly a article in this month's issue of the Thyroid Magazine. So you will find more information about her in that article. But I would like you, Nat, what's your parting message to a thyroid person out there that's watching this, that's struggling, and that's like, I just don't know where to start or what to do? What would be your message to them?
Okay, so first know that there is a way forward, and stop like, where do I start? Okay, I don't know what to do. Because stress is seriously the worst thing. It's just, remember, it's like taking a flamethrower to your inner garden. So just go, take 3 deep breaths and go, I've got this, okay? I've got this, and I'm going to make that change. Let's just say I'm not going to put anything processed. I'm not going to buy that ice cream. I'm going to have some, berries and a bit of yogurt. I mean, look, yogurt is processed too. But
good, better, best. One step better.
1 and 20 ingredients. That's your thing. That's your thing that I think food is a great start because it's something really concrete. When I talk to people about, low stress, and they're like, what are you talking about? How much stress? I can't do that, you fool. And I get that because our capacity, when our body is underfed and nutrient poor, and then we've got all that thyroid, brain fog and all the rest of it, like, oh my God, it's like telling someone, my husband never said, like, when I was going crazy, calm down. I was like, right, well, you've got a death wish. You're the next person that's going to die. Yeah. You're on my list now. So what it is I think a really good place to start is stop putting those processed foods in your trolley. And even if that means that things shrink for a while, because you're like, I only know 3 or 4 recipes that doesn't have stuff, that's a great start, because what's in there, the emulsifiers, even the sodium sometimes, or the fat, it can look good and not be good or whatever, is just get back to those basics, right? Yeah. And go, I know that. Like, I remember leaving home and I had chicken marengo, apricot chicken.
There's 4 or 5 things that you always grow up knowing. Yeah.
Stop putting anything that you don't know exactly what's in it. You're not willing to turn around and read it and whatever. And even the same thing, if you've got to sit there and be reading it, if you can't see it's a can of beans and it's the only things in it is beans, and that's a zucchini and that's whatever, the trouble putting it together, that's a different thing. Google it. I've got a zucchini and some chickpeas. Give me a recipe. Ask ChatGPT. They'll give it to you. If that's where your money lays, like you can't afford to do a program or work with someone or whatever, the simple things are, stop anything processed going into your trolley.
Beautiful.
That's the start, because when it's in our house, we have it. I never keep anything processed, because I know if I had bloody Tim Tams or whatever, Wagners, I love Wagners. I'd eat.
So do I. It's been forever since I had one.
I know, it's been years, but I would just inhale those little puppies.
Ice cream. We never keep ice cream in the house. My husband's an ice creamaholic.
If it's there, people go, I'll just do it with my friends. If someone pops over and I said, you've eaten those biscuits before your friend came over, and then you went and got another pack and you thought, 2 for 1 and I'll do this. Just don't. You can't have 1 Pringle and not eat the whole lot. I can't have 1 chip and not eat it. There's nothing wrong with you. It's not low.
They're designed to make you have more.
Yeah. So if it's not there and it's not in the house and you're just doing basic things, and rather than having things altered with taste, you're putting in more oregano or this or that, and you get better. I always say to people, I never cooked. My husband was the cook. I was the cleaner. Got sicker and sicker, and then I had to basically start from scratch. I can do it. They can do it. Anybody can do it. But just maybe, and just start writing down what's going on and how you work and what works for you and what doesn't, and then, you know, either do that fast paced or a slow paced or whatever that looks like for you. But yeah, I think food is something solid.
Oh, it is. And I think it's the thing that we've got to do 3 times a day, or we don't have to, but you know, that most people do 3 times a day. So it's kind of an easy starting point. You know, I love that it's, rather than add things in, you've just taken things out, the processed foods. That's awesome. That's doable for people. It's just getting their head around the convenience factor. And the biggest thing, working with somebody that you trust, you believe, you have a camaraderie with, or whatever it is that you're looking for in your practitioners. That's awesome. Nat, freaking awesome as usual.
No. Well, I figure just people are going to be listening and just like, well, they won't even be listening to this bit, so they've made it this far. We're okay. But
they've made it this far. Yeah.
But then you're not their people, and that's fine.
Absolutely. I will always interview different people because there'll be somebody out there for somebody. And if Nat's your person, her details will be in the description box for you of how to look at her programs, how to engage, work with her, how to have a discovery call, all the things. If you like the straight talk and the kick up the booty,
on that, don't read.
She's your woman.
Go away.
She's your woman. Oh, trust me.
Kylie, she's much nicer than me.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm surprisingly a little bit like that as well. So
yeah, I know you are. I think every practitioner is that you bring it out when you need to. There's a point you can go softly, but there's a point that you go, right, that's it.
It's time. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And no doubt we will see you on another YouTube video very soon.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Love talking to everybody. You
Bye.
too. Bye.